Today we had the opportunity of conversing with Mr. Kartikeyan, who is a leading scholar as well as practitioner in the field of OD, and Mr. Vishwanath Parameswaran, who is a renowned executive coach as well as an OD practitioner. And both of them are also part of the team of facilitators who conduct the Human Interaction Lab at the MA ODCL program at this. So this is how the conversation went. We had the great opportunity of hosting you as the facilitators in HIL. And as current OD students, we would like you to share your thoughts and about OD as a discipline here in India.
It's a great question. OD as a discipline in India is, I think there is no better time than now for OD as a discipline in the country. This is largely because if you really look at both society and industry, they are all in tremendous phases of transition and change, very rapid change. And the one field that is capable of taking a look at the whole system and saying, how do we enable people to see change for what it is and prepare them for change, really is organization development. And if I tap into our consulting experience, we have never been as busy as we are these days. There's so much of effort that's happening. We really like to think that this is a real significant moment for OD in the country.
Absolutely, totally agree. I think I'm building on that, especially the kind of technological changes that are happening. You have remote work, you have AI coming in. The whole aspect of what it means to create a community or to create change is becoming vastly different. And there are very, very few practitioners who understand, for example, organizational networks and how do you do an organizational network analysis, how do you get digital ways of looking at listening, etc. So there are several things that are absolutely needed from an OB discipline in the country, given the kind of changes, the rapid acceleration of change across the board actually.
So a natural follow-up question, as we now know the current significance of OD in India, would be what does future look like for an OD consultant and what are the career prospects?
Excellent question again. So the consultant can be an internal consultant or an external consultant, both. So there is a rapid growing space. So it's a very spacious field. So internal consultants, typically, I think organizations have them as learning and OD or learning and development or training and development or change management. So there are different names that are given, but they all point to the same area, that there is a lot of change happening and there is a need for both internal and external consultants. So companies take in people who are trained professionals in the field of learning, OD, etc. to help manage these areas. So that's on the internal side. On the external side, you have consultants, like for example, we are consultants, coaches, facilitators, advisors. So that's the other field where there's an outside-in perspective to the organization from consultants. And that's another field where today, if you really look at it, the amount of investment that companies are making in taking hired help from the outside to help manage their change process is huge compared to even say about 2 decades ago or even a decade ago. There seems to be rapid change now, and people are needing consultants to make sense of the change, not to implement change. Implement change is a different one, but really to make sense and say what is the most appropriate way of making this happen is definitely a big time right now.
Just to add on to what Kartik was saying, there are two parts to it. One is the movement into being an OD professional. But more and more I also find, for example, CHROs needing to have those skills to be in the workplace as an effective CHRO. CEOs now demand that your CHROs know things about organizational design, how to look at culture change, how to manage the rapid change that's happening. So several of these elements. So the progress of an OD person is not just about being an expert in learning and development or change, but also needs to be embedded for the CHRO's roles. Yeah, so the progress is not just an expertise role, but also moving into embedding those in the context of being a CHRO.
So those were some very great insights. So as you guys have also experienced, we as students and trying to be OD consultant tomorrow. So I would like you to touch base upon your experience of what role does TIS play or MA ODCL as a program would play in this scenario.
So we've been here for 3 years working with the ODCL system as consultants and facilitators for the HIL process. And I would not bat an eyelid before recommending the program and the students to any corporate. I think the quality of intellect, the quality of understanding, the quality of the students themselves is of very high order, very high caliber, I would say. The second part of the system is how the system shapes the people who are coming in. And in my view, the curriculum from a cognitive perspective is great, but even more so from an experiential perspective. So whether it's working with NGO, whether it's internships, whether it's the HIL, there's a clear emphasis on the experiential part of the curriculum, which I find to be tremendously useful in shaping an OD professional. So in some sense, they are ready to be in a system and working with a system, even as they enter, rather than being shocked when they enter a system. So in that sense, highly recommend the program that ODCL is in TIS.
I would say +1 to what Vishy has said. And I also want to add that I can't think of any other institution in the country today that has a very specific orientation like this for OD. Creating an entire master's program in organizational development and really helping bring that to the market, bring it to industry, bring it to society. I think it's a huge step forward. One of the things I would like to say, more like an anecdote, is recently one of the companies that we were consulting with, the CHRO, said, can you, two of you, put up a program for us where we have these good HR people, but we want them to be more OD and change specific or friendly. So he was willing to invest about a 6-month program or so on just, not all 6 months full time, but 6 months of phased work to help them also acquire OD skills and knowledge and so on. So that need is existing. So you have a lot of HR people, but you don't have that many OD people. So, and if industry is also looking at things like this kind of a program where they're seeing that there's a need for OD professionals, I think then the ODCL program is right there. And it is not just for today. I think the building of this program as it shapes in the future is also for the industry of tomorrow, where you are able to take in people who then come in with that specialization that is already there, rather than do a converter program for people inside.
These are some very great insights, and coming from you guys who are the industry veterans who have seen how things have shaped, we would like to thank you for taking us through this transformative journey, and at the same time hope to see you in the industry.
Thank you.